My name is Howard Moody, and as I was watching that, this whole thing is rather surreal, only because I saw Izzy about 9 months ago. And just about a year ago, we had collaborated on designing a 60th birthday party for a dear friend that's part of our Kripalu Consultants Collaborative Group. I'd be curious just to see who's here. How many people are family of Izzy's, relatives? How many people are just friends that you know through things? How many people know him through his humor work? And how many people know him through his improv work, which is his iteration of that? Fantastic. Well, I've known Izzy for almost 30 years, and I was very inspired by the humor work. And we had a love of improv. So Laura sent me an email after and she was planning this, and Howard, would you do like 15 minutes of improv? And I felt so honored. So in just a couple of moments, I'm going to ask you to engage in a little bit of improv and let me create a little bit of safety for that. And on Zoom too, I welcome you if you have anybody there at home with you to play along. Because Izzy and I experienced the same teacher. I think we both had some improv background, and we both met Martin DeMott, one of the original creative directors of Second City Theater. And we took a workshop, not the same one. I think I took it in 96 and he took it in 97 from Martin DeMott. And I think it added so much to our lives to learn from this incredible teacher of some of the best performers of comedy and improv in the world. And he taught it as skills for life. And I know in his last iteration, Izzy was talking a lot about applied improv for the corporate world and the business world and for anyone that wanted to learn. And I sat down with Izzy for lunch, I think it was last October, November, and I hadn't seen his PAT, his presence, acceptance, and trust piece of improv. And I said, can I use that? He said, Howard, as long as you attribute it to me, you may use that. I said, fantastic. And it goes along with the other tools, the skills of improv that I learned, which is about being in the present moment, trust your brain to go with your gut, acceptance, how do you say yes and then trust. How do you really make your partner look good and feel wonderfully smart? So improv is this incredible tool for living. And when I probably get I figured this would happen because I cry in front of people all the time now that I've gotten older. And just seeing Izzy talk about the memory you felt, and that's why I said this was so surreal. I emailed some friends that they said, it's surreal to think that he's not among us. And I know I'd be given that memory seeing all of you. He's not among us anymore. And Laura asked me to honor him by doing improv. And what better way to engage in a little bit of laughter and a little bit of engaging improv? This is going to be very easy for you. I'm going to ask you to we're going to do 3 different little partner exercises. And I'd love to get a volunteer for this first exercise that I can demonstrate to it. So who's really brave enough to willing to walk up on stage and demonstrate one little partner improv? Right there, I see you. Fantastic. I appreciate that. And we're going to do a final one in a minute where I am going to ask people up on stage, but I'm just going to demonstrate this first one. And this one is, again, that presence thing. Come really close because we have to hear us in the microphone.
Okay.
And so your name is?
Christopher.
Christopher. We're going to tell a one-word story.
Okay.
One word at a time. And I'll give you, this is really cool to be this close. I mean, this is very intimate. I like that. I've never done this before this close. So
Colgate. You used Colgate this morning. I can tell from here.
I did. I brushed a little bit. That's really good. You noticed that. I know. So we're going to tell a one-word story. I recommend that you start it with once upon a time or once there was, and know when there's a natural period, then just start a new sentence. So we'll just do like 2 sentences. Sure. Of it. So once
upon
a
time
there
was
a
giant
boy
named
Bill
who
loved
to
climb
trees.
One
day
he
climbed
a
tree
that
was
so tall, so
very
tall
that
he
was
tired.
So
he
fell
asleep. That's good. There we go. That's all. Yay. We could have kept on going. That's beautiful. So we told a story about a tall boy, a big boy who climbed tall trees. So I want you to turn to a partner. By the way, you can do a one-word story as a threesome. So don't be shy. Oh, by the way, every once in a while in a one-word story, you can get stuck. So you can always go again and just start a new one. We're only going to do this for about a minute. and then I'll tell you to try to end your story. So you ready? Turn to a partner or partners and tell a one-word story and honor Izzy. Ready, set, go. And try to find an ending to your story in the next 10 seconds. And bring that to a close. Fantastic. So that one game really emphasizes being in the present moment because you've got to really pay attention. Now let's do one. And I'd love another volunteer. So another person be brave enough that wants to raise their hand. Come on up, sir. And this one is one of my all-time favorite. It's called Memory Loss, or called Fill in the Blank. And it really emphasizes this whole principle of saying yes and. This part changed my life in improv, and I know Izzy and I would talk about it forever. How do we say yes to life? So I'm going to be the first storyteller, and I would love, and your name is Joey, okay? And I'm going to start telling a story, Joey, and at some point after sentence, I'm going to go, that's you the clue. Give me a word or a short phrase, and I'll continue the story from that point. Someone please shout out an idea for me to tell a story about. First idea. It's a beautiful, here we go. It was a beautiful day when I woke up this morning, but then the storm clouds came in, and I got really scared, and I
Took out your umbrella.
I took out my umbrella and I tried to put it up, but it did one of those funny things where it just kind of broke, and I didn't know what to do. So I
got in your car and drove a mile.
I got in a car and drove a mile to try to outrace the storm, and I did. But then I found this beautiful meadow, and I saw
Lamb.
I saw a giant lamb, and I felt so nice. And I went up and petted the giant lamb, and the lamb said to me,
Crazy.
And I realized the lamb was right. So thank you, Joey. Beautiful. Thank you. So that's how you say yes and in this game, because the person who is the fill in the blank person. So I'm just going to do this once. One of you is going to be the storyteller. If you have three people there, you can alternate filling in the blank. So one person is a storyteller. The other person fills in the blank. We're not going to tell a story about a beautiful day. What's the new idea we're going to tell a story about? Someone shout it out. Tell a story about love. Are you falling in love? Are you looking for love? Who knows? Start the story, and then you'll hear me say, try to find an ending to your story, and you take 20 seconds in the story. Ready, set, and go. Take 20 seconds to try to find an ending to your story. And bring that one to an end. Thank you, partner. By the way, if you ever want to switch partners to play this one last game, you're more than welcome to, but it'd be easier to just keep on playing with that person. One more partner game, and then we're going to do one with a whole group of people volunteering that will honor Izzy's life. Newell, would you be willing to demonstrate this one with me, which is quick and easy? One of my favorites that Izzy usually does is called A to Z. And what that means is we're going to tell a story from A to Z. We'll actually start with a different letter, and each sentence has to begin with the next letter in the alphabet. It takes a little bit of thinking, but take your time with it. So let's someone shout out an idea to tell a story about. Tell a story about a dog. Someone shout out a letter that we can start with. K, J. And we're going to just say, Jack was my favorite dog. He was a Jack Russell.
King. Wow.
I know that King was his last name. It was Jack King was my dog's name.
Like that was his last name?
My gosh, it really was. Isn't that cool?
No, this is really dumb.
Oh, come on now. You know I'm smarter than that.
Poor joke. Poor joke.
See how it's played? We could have kept on going. We want to try to get all the way through the alphabet till we end with the last letter that was before J. So we're going to tell a story about new idea. What's a different idea than that one rather than the dog? Someone shout out an idea. Gardening. You're going to tell a story, and let's start with the letter R. Start with the letter R and try to go all the way back to the letter R. By the way, X's and Z's are kind of interesting. You can use things like X-lax counts, or excellent can be an X, or zounds can work for Z. So start with the letter R, tell a story R all the way back through Q that ends with Q. See if you can tell one sentence at a time, starting with each letter with your partner. Good luck. Go. And thank your partner for playing. So now we're going to do one a little bit along the lines of what you normally might see in improv, which means there's going to be a audience part and a stage performers part. And I told Laura I had the brainstorm to do this game because when I took the training with Martin DeMott, this was one of his favorite games. It's called The String of Pearls. So by the way, how many of you having the thought right now is like, whoever thought we'd be doing this at a memorial service? Fantastic. Then that really honors Izzy. So here's the game. We're going to get two people who don't have to do any kind of creativity on their own. There's going to be one person this end, and I'll probably give you the first starting line. Normally, we have you just come up with the starting line of a great story and then ending line of a great story. This is going to be a story about Izzy. So one person's going to tell the first line. I'm going to have to stay on the microphone, otherwise I'd come out and talk to you. So I'm going to have one person who's just going to be the placeholder for this one. And I think they're going to start off by saying this. Am I correct in saying that Izzy's given name was Israel? Was that his given name? Israel? So here's going to be the first line of the story. There was a young boy named Israel, and everyone called him Izzy. Okay, so who would like to be the first person that's going to constantly repeat that line as we do this activity? One brave person, that's all you got to do is say that line. Ingrid, come on up. Right over there by that speaker. And someone's going to come up here, and you're going to be the last line in the story. And what would be a fitting end? I was thinking, and I'd love your input on this one. I was thinking of a line, something like, yeah, right past the speaker over there. And you're always going to say the first beginning line, even further. Yeah, it's going to be a string of pearls. We're going to have about 8 or 9 people make it in line to tell a story about Izzy's life. So here, would you please say that first line? There was a young boy named Israel, and everyone called him Izzy. That's all Ingrid's going to do this whole game. And yeah, beautiful. Yeah, exactly. That you make your part. That's exactly what the audience does in this game. The last person, I was thinking of a line, something like this, and he made everyone laugh, and he laughed himself, and he also laughed up until his final day. It sounds kind of hard to say, but it's true. Right, Laura? That's right. So who could like to, and you could maybe edit that a little bit or come up with some sparkier way to say that. Who would like to say that one? Come on. Yeah, come on. So that's now everybody else is going to come in and plug in somewhere along the story, wherever you want. I didn't know Izzy as a young boy, but you might come over here. He loved to play Little League Baseball, but that's probably not true. I don't know. Some of you know him. There's someone over here, he loved to do implied improv. And we'll have one at a time to fill in the story. And every time a new person comes up, they say their line, then we tell the story all the way through. Who thinks they could plug in a story about a one-line piece in this story? And you can come up to the side. So yeah, come on up. And wherever you want to plug in the timeline.
I once knew a boy named Israel, and everyone called him Izzy, except everyone who really knew him and called him Sterlington. But that Izzy loved hockey.
No.
Not baseball, but hockey. And he made his little sister play on the floor all the time.
So the question remains, was it Laura or did he just run out of station?
Izzy helped those of us who were not comfortable with improv find our voice.
As Izzy would say, shared laughter is love made audible.
And Izzy made everyone laugh and laugh on his final day.
That's good. That's perfect. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. That's my time. That's a great way to honor my beloved friend Izzy. Thank you.